Welcome to Fighting Cats, I'm Shin. Naoya Inoue versus Akhmadaliev has ended, with the monster's dominant performance sparking much discussion. Akhmadaliev, who is both an Olympic bronze medalist and a unified world champion, ended up looking like just an ordinary amateur fighter. That's how the match went. Inoue has always been able to hit without getting hit, executing offense and defense at a high level. But in this fight against Akhmadaliev, you could say he took it to the next level. I think many people who watched the match had the same impression. At least in Japan, how did overseas fans and media feel about it? I was interested in that point and actually looked into it. However, even before the match, the Inoue versus Akhmadaliev fight wasn't covered that much overseas. And even after the match, it didn't attract as much attention as it did in Japan. The reason is that the day before, the biggest fight of the year, Canelo versus Crawford, took place. On top of that, Crawford achieved the impossible, becoming the first undisputed champion in 3 weight classes, literally rewriting boxing history. Naturally, the overseas media was all about Canelo versus Crawford. In the midst of that, I found a podcast where a certain expert was talking about the Inoue versus Akhmadaliev fight. That expert is none other than Teddy Atlas, who is well known in the boxing world. He had talked about Inoue even before the Akhmadaliev fight, but after this match he analyzed it in detail. Atlas explained in detail how Inoue completely shut out Akhmadaliev and why Akhmadaliev couldn't attack aggressively. But what I found most interesting was that even after Inoue's perfect performance, Atlas pointed out a technical aspect that he thought should be changed. Moreover, he spoke about it as if it were a message to Inoue's trainer, Shingo Inoue. What was the point that Atlas focused on? In this video, I'd like to share Teddy Atlas's comments with you all. But before that, please smash the subscribe button on this channel and smash the like button too. As for Akhmadaliev, some fans felt that he just went into defense, didn't go for the knockout, and maybe even gave up halfway through. I can really understand that feeling, especially compared to the way Neri and Cardenas fought against Inoue in the past. But Atlas had a slightly different opinion. The main thing was Murodjon Akhmadaliev was on defense. Well, he was moving his feet, keeping his distance, and standing in the places where Inoue was moving. Also, he's physically strong, he's tough, and has a good chin. Murodjon Akhmadaliev's style made Inoue consider the counter, preventing Inoue from running on him. Even though Murodjon Akhmadaliev won, it's not that he was just fighting to survive. I can understand the idea that if you're losing on points, you should go for a knockout even if you have to force it. But if you attack recklessly and get knocked out yourself, that's also a loss. If that happens, you lose even the chance to turn things around with a big punch in the remaining rounds. Akhmadaliev has the punching power to change the fight with a single shot. That's why he kept looking for that punch until the final round. And above all, Akhmadaliev, who was actually in the ring with Inoue, understands it better than any of us watching from the outside. He knows when it's dangerous to attack or when his punches won't reach. Only the person in the ring can really feel those subtle exchanges and sense of danger. That's why Ataris evaluated Akhmadaliev's defense as solid. But even more than that, he highly praised Inoue's performance. Inoue's footwork and hands were so fast that what Murodjon Akhmadaliev was doing and what Inoue was doing were on a completely different level. It's like one guy was using regular and the other guy was using nitro. Inoue learned from his last fight and knew he couldn't be purely aggressive. Murodjon Akhmadaliev was looking to counter, and so Inoue feinted and made the counterpuncher be aggressive. Murodjon Akhmadaliev didn't want to be aggressive. Murodjon Akhmadaliev is physically strong, but his temperament is more suited to counterpunching. Inoue, with his brilliance, intellect, and ability, made Murodjon Akhmadaliev come after him and counterpunch the counterpuncher. He got him out of stride and out of rhythm, and that's brilliant. And after he got Murodjon Akhmadaliev to be hesitant, Inoue started stepping towards him. Not reckless, but smart and controlled. At the end of the day, brilliant placement of punches to the body and the head, Inoue showing why he's a complete package. If Akhmadaliev is a 100, Inoue was a 100-0. Looking back, it's kind of funny that Akhmadaliev said before the fight that he was better overall. But don't forget, Akhmadaliev is definitely a strong boxer too. Before the fight, I said Akhmadaliev was a dangerous opponent, and after the fight, some people criticized that comment. But my opinion hasn't changed. Akhmadaliev is really strong. It's just that Naoya Inoue was so overwhelmingly strong that he made Akhmadaliev look weak. This kind of situation has happened in big fights in the past too, like Mayweather versus. Before the fight, people were excited, saying Hatton had a chance. But once it started, the difference with Mayweather was obvious. Or in fights where people wondered who would win, Crawford scored 3 knockdowns and won by a one-sided knockout. Hatton and Spence were by no means weak. It was just that their opponents, Mayweather and Crawford, were too strong. And this time, Inoue versus Akhmadaliev is exactly the same. And of course, almost no one expected Akhmadaliev to win, except for Flashson, but no one thought it would be such a one-sided dominant decision victory either. That's why this fight has become such a big topic. And just like Naoya Inoue showed an overwhelming difference in the ring, there's actually something else that shows an overwhelming difference from its competitors, VITAS protein. Not only is it said to be the most delicious in the world, but its nutrition and macros are perfect. Many top athletes already use it. And of course, I use it every day myself. For those who want to maintain their health, it's also highly recommended for those who want to build muscle and for those who are challenging themselves with a diet. Be sure to get VITAS from the link in the description. Naoya Inoue truly showed a perfect performance. Japanese fans and many experts surely felt the same way. However, Teddy Atlas felt a little differently. While praising Inoue's performance as perfect, he pointed out just one technical aspect that caught his attention. He said it would be better to improve this, almost as if he was sending a message to Inoue's trainer, Shingo Inoue. I'll tell you one thing, Inoue's people and his father are doing a great job, but you better get your son to stop stepping back with his hands down and chin up. Some big shots missed him by half an inch, and as he gets older, the half inch goes away. I've seen it. As you age, your reaction speed naturally slows. I think that's exactly what Andres was concerned about. Thai boxers who rely on speed and explosiveness often struggle as they get older. Punches they could dodge with reflexes when they were young become dangerous with even the slightest delay once they reach their mid-30s, says. Looking back at the past, Roy Jones Jr., there are many examples of fighters like Amol Khan who once boasted overwhelming speed, losing their edge as that speed declined. That's why it's understandable that a great trainer like Andres would advise making adjustments there, and I think it's worth considering. However, looking back at the actual match, there were many times when Akhmadaliev tried to time his hooks in the direction Inoue was moving, but Inoue slipped away every time. From the opponent's perspective, punches that seemed like they would land ended up missing by a wide margin. And even though it's a defensive move, it looks incredibly flashy and memorable to those watching. Watching Inoue versus Akhmadaliev, again, I was reminded that Naoya Inoue is a fighter who can make defense look cool. He moves at super speed while maintaining perfect balance. So even basic techniques like a simple 1-2 followed by a backstep look incredibly beautiful. Isn't that amazing? What did you all think about the defensive techniques Naoya Inoue showed? And how did you feel after hearing Terry Arias' analysis? Please let me know in the comments. Also, smash that subscribe button for the channel. And don't forget to smash the like button too. This is Uzui Haru. See you again next time. Bye.